Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Peas in a Pod. We're here today with David Davis,
Andre Messam.
Anthony Messam.
Orville Xavier Davis.
and we thought that it would be a good idea to spend some time discussing adversities we've also been through, and how those adversities helped shape us in terms of our careers and just our experiences. And we understand that going through problems is a common thing. There's a funny saying by Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So it's great that we want to buy a house, we want to invest, we want to make all this money, but how do we continue down those roads when we're thrown a roadblock or a speed bump? And just to speak about something that I've went through, starting out, just working. I started in an entry level job. I was a part-time teller, and I didn't really understand what I wanted to do within work, and really for the most part just networking within the field, asking people, what do you do? Is there a lot of money within that space? And I understood that I wanted to become a banker, but I didn't know how to become a banker. I was told different things. Oh, you have to be a teller for some odd amount of years, and then you have to become, a service assistant before becoming a banker. And my managers never really believed in me and my capabilities. And, that's very depressing. And quite frankly, it really took me going through a lot of, feeling awkward for standing out, excelling among my peers, and just, again, being patient and understanding that things take time. And eventually, just working my way up to speak to a manager on another level to help make that happen for me. So, again, just being patient, whatever job that you're in at this point in time, just keep your eyes on the prize, and eventually things will come to fruition. But with that said, I thought that everyone else had a very, important story to share, and I just wanted to swing it over to Andre at this point.
Absolutely. An adversity that I faced, the lowest point that I've hit in my life, I remember I was working the night shift. I was working a late shift at ShopRite, and it was in the summertime. It was in the summertime, and I had failed a class. I failed intermediate accounting 1. I had taken accounting since high school, so I was like, oh, this class is gonna be cake. And since like the first day I got in there, and we really started class after like reviewing the syllabus, so maybe the second or third day, and and I just felt so behind every day in class. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not understanding the information? I'm like, I remember from the third grade, I wanted to do accounting. Now I'm here, and I'm struggling, I'm failing, I'm not understanding. And I failed the class, and I was in the ShopRite parking lot. It was night. I remember it was a full moon. I just felt like a failure. I can't believe that I failed the class. I felt as if I let myself down. I was letting my family down, my friends who weren't in college, who were feeling lost themselves. I felt as if I was letting everyone down. And I felt so depressed, and there was so much emotion that was running through my mind and how I was feeling that I just wanted to quit. I wanted to quit, and when I upstate in New Paltz, it's just like so many mountains, and I'm just like, maybe I just hop in my car and just why waste my time? I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my family time. And I remember I called my cousin Javier and just talking to him and letting him know how I'm feeling. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm wasting my time. And then he's just like, yo, Dre, honestly, you're doing way better than I'm doing. I look up to you for inspiration. There's so many other people who look up to you for inspiration that you just got to take it one day at a time. And it was just like, wow. It was uplifting to see that. And in life, it's a long road, and you hit these bumps in the road, but it's all about getting up. And then all I could think about is also my friend who passed away the year before that, my freshman year, and just running track with him in high school, how he was so uplifting and encouraging. All I could think about is him in my corner. And I remember I had a track race. I was practicing a pentathlon, and he was a long distance runner. And he would sit there and yell, you could do it, Andre, you could do it, Andre, push, push, push. So I just hear his voice. I could just hear Mike Ramos saying, Andre, you could do it, get back up, go get some money, see what you can get from financial aid, save up some money, retake the class during the summertime. I retook the class from the summertime. I had my notes from when I took the class during the fall semester, and I ended up passing the class with a B plus. And all I could think about is just, wow, I was at this low point in my life. I was literally having just like suicidal thoughts because I didn't want to waste my time. I didn't want to waste my family time. I didn't want to let other people down. So it's just important for me with that adversity to just be positive in myself and just pick myself up and continue to push on in life.
That's awesome. Tone, what about you, man?
An adversity that I had was when I was as young as 19. I found myself homeless. You would never think that, a young kid, that would be something you have to deal with. But it was just constant arguments with my mom. And one day, enough was enough. But I came home from basketball practice and my stuff was in black bags in the rain outside. And I was like, bro, again, like coming home to see that, it was just depressing, along with all those constant arguments. It was just like, wow, like my mom just finally gave up on me. I spent 7 months sleeping in a 96 Honda Accord, and that feeling was like no other. It was just so lonely. It was like no one cared about you. You're just by yourself. A lot of cold nights. And at this time, I was in college. I went to Dowling College in Long Island, but because I was just financially aware, I'm like, I didn't want to graduate with a bunch of student loans, as well as, not having the financial or like moral support at the time, like from my parents. So I transferred to the College of Aeronautics, and having some friends there that I went to school with, high school with, they didn't know my story. I was really, timid on letting other people know my situation. But through the gym and just by being close buddies, it was just kind of natural until I left school. And then the loneliness feeling kind of just like shadowed over me again. And it was just me all by myself. So I tried to spend as much time in the gym, as much time in the library, just to keep the school just going. It was a lot of times that I just wanted to give up and just try something else. I did try the drug thing for a little bit. That quickly ended. It was not for me. That life is a totally different animal, and I didn't want to put the time in that I've the hard work and effort that I put in to just go to waste by taking a chance selling drugs to make some dollars here and there. So that ended, and I ended up another night in the car, and I would just take it day by day, saying this too shall pass. And just by constant help from friends at school, and just a constant reminder to myself, like, this too shall pass, just every day, just do the best you can every day. And I ended up graduating. I got my end up finishing my bachelor's, getting a job fixing planes at Delta, and that just like turned everything around. Like, was able to now qualify for the house. I just seen the light at the tunnel as soon as I graduated. So just by just taking it day by day and just trying to stay positive, even when you have a downtime, just know that, like, while pressing forward and just moving in a positive direction, that this too shall pass.
That's awesome. Yeah. Or what about you, man?
Yeah, I had faced adversities just like the rest of you and pretty much everyone else. And a time when I had faced adversity, I was 19, around the same age as Tone, and I was in school, I was working, I just got a new job as well, a second job, and life was looking great. But then, the worst happened. I was arrested, and I was facing serious charges. I was looking at almost 14 years in jail, and it was a very hard time in my life. And I mean, I didn't even know what to do. I mean, at the time while I was in jail, I just kept telling myself, this can't be the end. This can't be how it ends. Like, I know that I'm supposed to be here to do something great. And I just kept telling myself that. And, my family would support me, but a lot of my friends just, fell and just, passed in the wind. And, it was hurtful at the time. And, I didn't know how to deal with it. But then I just remembered, to go back to the basics of what I knew, to just rely on myself, be positive, and keep believing that there's something great is going to happen to me, and that there's something to learn from this negative situation. And, I eventually came out of jail, but I didn't have to spend too much time. But I ended up with a felony, which, would make it hard. But at the time, I was like, okay, I'm going to work with my father, and things will be all right. But then he ended up going into a coma, and now everything fell on me, and I'm trying to run this family business at the age of 19. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to fight to keep the family afloat. And then, things happened where I had to end up getting out of the business and start looking for work. And this is where the felony really struck me hard, because everywhere I went, I couldn't find work. I couldn't find anyone that would want to even speak to me because of what I filled out on the application. But I just kept staying persistent, kept going to anywhere, and just trying to make a way. Trying to get my bartender's license. Still, nobody wanted to hire me. But eventually, I found my way, and someone was nice enough to hire me, and they understood my story, and they loved that I was open with it. And I let my character show who I was rather than what they saw on paper. And from there, that was a stepping stone. And I was able to go back to school and improve myself. And I knew that I had to work harder than everybody else, because, with this on your record, it kind of gives a bad look, a bad omen. And so I decided to start increasing my knowledge of like certain languages like Spanish, Portuguese, and French, and just trying to stand out from the rest of the crowd, and I would go into school and just do great, because there was nowhere else to go. I was already like at the bottom, so there was only one way, and it's to go up. And I just stayed focused and stopped paying attention to what anybody else was doing, and just kept trying to improve myself, because when your back is against this wall, you have this instinct that just kicks in. It just makes you soar, because it's either you give up and fail, or you soar. And my mother had told me, a few stories about several people that went through certain adversities, and because they were able to surpass it, they were able to succeed. But this ended up leading towards me becoming a tough person, and it helped me in the work, because I dealt with problems at work, and I was able to go through it without any problems, because I said to myself, I went through worse, so this is nothing. And I did the same with the house situation. When I went to buy my house, I was experiencing certain problems, but I said, I've been through worse, and I could get through this. I'm going to make this happen. Nothing's going to stop me. And this is what I did to succeed. This is like the stuff that I keep in the back of my mind to keep me focused and hungry. Like, this is what champions need in order to succeed, and that's pretty much the adversity that I went through.
Guys, thank you for sharing this. I feel like what I take away, and what I feel like the audience can really take away, one, really find something that's going to motivate you through those dark times, right? Like, if it's the end of the tunnel, the light of the end of the tunnel that you got to keep reminding yourself about, you got to keep your mind on it. You have to find a way to keep your mind on it. Additionally, as you're going through hardships, you have to find positive ways to keep yourself occupied, right? Idle time is the devil's workshop, right? So you have to find a way to be, as you're being patient, to find your way to do things productive. Additionally, surround yourself with a positive support group. That could be family, that could be a close group of friends. And also, you have to learn from the hardships that you go through. Hold on to them and let them propel you to new levels. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found some value, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.